Alexandra Levine welcomes you to the Alexandra Levine Live podcast. Today, we've got a packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you well informed. So, please click the subscribe button to get notified of her upcoming episodes. If you like what Alexandra talks about, then please share the Alexandra Levine Live to others. Alexandra also looks forward to your comments during this episode. Tonight's Alexandra Levine Live podcast starts now.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to Alexandra Levine Live. I am your host, Alexandra Levine, on the America's Pulse Network. Happy pre-4th of July to everyone that is watching all over the country and the world. We have some major breaking news, of course, with my man, A.L.L. Donald Trump. Let's put up the first slide. So President Trump, as you know, is still making deals every single day. Today, he says, how about this? Micron, a great American company, announced that they're putting in $250 million into the Trump account for the future benefit of children. And their stock went up 9 points today. Thank you, Micron, President Donald J. Trump. So this is something that President Trump promised on the campaign trail. He actually brought young children into the White House to let them know about their future. And he's allowing Trump accounts for the future benefit of our children so that when their parents perish, they'll have some money for themselves to go to college and so forth. This is such a beautiful idea, such a brilliant thing that the president worked on with this company, Micron. And of course, it's a great American company. As we say, buy American, hire American. President Trump is not doing any business overseas. These are American companies that want to help keep American kids safe. And of course, it's American kids first. Now let's put up the next breaking news slide. So again, A.L.L. Donald Trump, the United States spends more money on NATO to protect them. From so doing, U.S. $999 billion, United Kingdom $90.5 billion, France $66.5 billion, Italy $48.8 billion, Poland $44.3 billion. Others, including Germany, are much lower from 2014 to 2025. Ridiculous. So again, the president's saying, like, why is the United States spending more money on NATO than any other country? NATO has to be fair, and they have to put up their own fair share. We're getting screwed by the United Kingdom. We're getting screwed by France, screwed by Italy, screwed by Poland. And as you know, the president was at the G7 summit, and he talked about how Miss Italy over there was kissing his butt and trying to take pictures with him and acting like they're all kissy, lovey-dovey. And he called her out and said, that woman is ridiculous. She's fake. She really doesn't care about America. I've called her many times to try to do business. And now all of a sudden she's trying to kiss my butt at the G7 to take pictures for the media. She's a media whore. And as you know, I call it all the whores on this network. And as you know, Macron, you know, he acts like he supports the United States and he's so kissy, lovey-dovey with Trump and the FLOTUS, and then he just backstabs him. As you know, they got rid of the United Kingdom Prime Minister, thank God, to the party, because that guy was a disaster. And as you know, the United Kingdom has been totally overthrown by all these Islamic terrorists that are in the UK. They have freaking Sharia law over there practically. And hopefully the new prime minister that comes in will make the United K great again. But this is just par for the course. I mean, there's a lot of NATO countries such as Hungary, who I hope will keep a very strong alliance with the United States. As you know, Viktor Orban, he lost his re-election. And the new guy who came in, Peter Mungar, he used to work for Orban, but you know, he kind of has to kowtow to his socialist counterparts that kind of got him there. So it's very important, guys. It's very important that we call out and continue to call out how much money the United States gives to NATO. Again, these other foreign countries are not paying their fair share. And I'll be honest, we've hashtag had enough. Now going into, I do want to say for the record before we get to segment one, that the USA soccer team, football, they won and they're going to the next round, and they will be playing Belgium on Monday night. Let me tell you something. The USA soccer team is kicking butt in the World Cup. I'll be honest, I've never really been interested in the World Cup. Like, soccer is like not my sport, but I have a lot of European friends, and we've been watching the World Cup. And now that the USA is involved in kicking butt, and they're hosting it in Seattle and LA, a lot of people are watching it a lot of United States support. And as I showed you the other day on Tuesday, if you can see, there we go. I personally, for the first time, I'm always patriotic on 4th of July, but I just wanted to go extra patriotic this time because it is the 250-year celebration of America, where I literally put the American flag on my middle finger. So if anybody has a problem with it, they may get the middle finger this weekend. Just kidding. So going into segment 1 now. So as you know, segment 1 talks about feeling America. As you know, on Tuesday, I had a very special guest named Tammy Nobles, whose daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered by an illegal criminal alien from El Salvador. And what did they have a couple days ago? They had another woman who testified in front of Congress, whose daughter also was murdered by an illegal alien. And she had a very, very sad and heartfelt testimony. But of course, the Congress people, especially the Democrats, I would say majority Democrats, they don't care. They don't care about American kids. They don't care about American citizens. They care more about illegals than American citizens. And I'm glad that this mother called the congressman and the congresswoman out for their disgusting display of how they have no compassion and no sympathy or empathy for what this woman is going through. Let's put up the first slide by Ben Shapiro. So Ben Shapiro actually talked about a representative from New York, Mike Lawler, who is actually very pro-Israel and very pro-Jewish. So Representative Mike Lawler from New York, he said he didn't mince words after a screaming match in the Capitol Hill Tuesday, branding Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, who's Jewish, and Pramila Jayapal, who's a huge anti-Jew Jew, called them an effing a-hole or both of them effing a-holes in the hallway outside a House Judiciary hearing on sanctuary cities, and doubling down that the pair deserved every syllable of it. The New York Republicans' fury erupted after Jayapal and Raskin used their opening statements to gripe about sitting through a, quote, fourth hearing on sanctuary policies, moments before grieving mother Jessica Gorman was set to testify about her daughter Sheridan, murdered in Chicago by an illegal immigrant. Now let's put up the slide by Ronnie Jackson, Congressman Ronnie Jackson from Texas, who we love. He said, Democrats have completely lost it. Illegals abuse our systems and threaten the safety of our citizens. How do you look a mother in the eye whose child was taken from this world by a criminal illegal alien and tell her you're going to keep fighting for illegals like her daughter's killer? And this is what Ronnie Jackson was talking about. Let's play the clip with Congresswoman Jayapal.
Unfortunately, this hearing is, it's the fourth time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities, the fourth time. And there's many other things that we could be doing other than this.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable what this woman, this congresswoman, a representative who is supposed to represent we the people. Very insane what she just said. She basically downplayed and said this is the fourth time that we're talking about sanctuary city policies. Well, guess what? What the hell have you done to help? What the hell have you done to reduce the illegal criminals that are in your district? You're a freaking anti-Semite, pro-illegal criminal, pro-convicted felon woman who would love to have illegals just running around the district and the country. But my question to her is, and I say this to all the Democrats, would you allow an illegal criminal in your household? Would you accept these illegal felons and convicted felons and illegal aliens into your home? That happened during the campaign trail with Kamala Harris. There was a bunch of illegals that ended up on the front lawn of where she was staying at the Blair House. You think she invited them into the Blair House? Actually, kudos goes to Governor Greg Abbott, because what he did is he took a busload of all these illegals and literally sent them to Martha's Vineyard, and he sent them to D.C., and my governor, Ron DeSantis, did the same. Because these Democrats love illegals. They love them because they can use them to cheat on the elections. In certain liberal states, such as Maryland, they do not require photo ID to vote. So they can just constantly vote and vote and vote and vote and go from precinct to precinct to precinct and continue to vote. But the question to Ms. Jayapal is, would you be okay if, God forbid, your child died from an illegal alien or illegal criminal? Would you be okay if your daughter was running in the park in broad daylight and was murdered and raped? Would you be okay if somebody followed your child home, went up to the basement with them and raped them and killed them. And let me tell you, these illegal criminals, they don't kill the people slowly. They make them suffer. And sometimes the young people, they try to do everything they can to just look up at God and ask them for a last chance of breath, so maybe they can find a way to escape, but then it's too late. The fact that a congresswoman and a congressman would have no sympathy and empathy for any angel mom is disgusting. That's why these people should be voted out or removed permanently from office. This whole concept of not putting Americans first is something new. It's something that the Democrat Party is pushing. It's something that the squad is pushing. That's why you have all these illegals that are running for office, all these foreigners from Somalia and different countries, and Uganda and different countries all over the world, now running for Congress and running for the United States Senate, and unfortunately winning the primaries to the point where they're just steps away from running your government. How could anybody in their right mind allow this? How could anyone in their right mind accept this or think this is okay? Because it's not. It's not okay at all. I really wish that people would wake up and realize that this is awful. Congress people, shame on them. And this is what Mrs. Gorman had to say about what Ms. Jayapal had to say. Let's play that.
And I understand that you're here for a reason. I don't understand why it's only the Republican side that cares about our American children. And I know that you're a mother. I know that you're a father. I deeply value that. But basically what you just did, what you said was, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have a daughter too. I have a son. I feel your pain. You don't. You don't feel my pain. Because the next words out of your mouth were, but. There's no but. When your child is in a coffin, there's no but. And I need you to understand that. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. I'm going to buy you a bench. I can put that on the record. I'm going to buy Congress a bench. And they can come and sit and hold my hand and look me in the eye and explain to me why illegal immigrants are more important than my daughter. I really want to know because I don't understand.
And she's 100% correct. The Democrats, they don't give a damn about the children. They don't give a damn about you, the people. And it's true. Ms. Jayapal's a mom. Mr. Raskin's a father. Mr. Raskin actually lost one of his children to suicide. Mr. Raskin had cancer in the brain. He could have died. And a lot of people came out for him and supported him. But when it comes to someone's child losing their life, there is no words. And again, you are a congressman. You represent the people in your district, but you also are part of the federal government where you do not put illegals first before your own. Now, it was very scary what's happening in New York and Minnesota and possibly in parts of Maryland, where you have illegals or people that came to this country and they do not put America first. You have Black Muslims in very hardcore conservative areas that say they're moderates, but then once they get in, you may have calls to prayer in your district. They may sneak in Sharia law without you knowing it, because this is where the left is headed. It's not about celebrating your freedom of religion anymore. It's about socialism. It's about this is the way of life. It reminds me of a movie that I've been watching with Sally Field and Alfred Molina. It's a very old movie. I think it's called Not Without My Daughter. And I think Sally Field either won an Oscar for it or she was nominated. But it talks about an American woman who married a man from Iran. He was Iranian. And he had dual citizenship between America and Iran. He met Sally Field in America, married her, had a child in America. And then he said to Sally Field, you know, my family in Iran has been calling me and they really want us to come and visit. They haven't met our daughter, Momtab, and they really want us to come and visit for at least a couple weeks. So she's like, sure, that's fine. And of course, her husband was responsible for putting the passports together and having them take a flight to Iran. What the husband failed to tell his wife before he got on that plane is that she was never coming back to America. He actually lied to her and tricked her and found a way for him to stay in Iran, because in Iranian families and in Iranian traditions, usually they have the Iranian man marries an American woman, and sometimes they take their child away from you and you never see your children again. And the husband, Alfred Rulino, actually gave Sally Field a moment where she could go back to America, but she could not take her child with them because he wanted to raise his child as an Islamist. He wanted his wife to cover her whole body, wear a burqa. And they even said in the movie that the way that Alfred Molina's family is super ultra religious, that they're not modern, that they believe in this strict way of life, that Sally Field could see the writing on the wall and did everything she could to take her daughter and escape. And they did at the end of the movie. She found her way back to the United States Embassy, where she was able to go home back to America and be in the home that she grew up in and have her daughter plant trees and roses in their garden. But this is what this type of very hardcore Islamists do. They trick you. They say, oh, we're just going to Iran for a couple weeks. Oh, you just have to wear the head covering when you're around my mother or my grandmother. No, it becomes a cult. That's why it's very important for the Iranian people to take back their country, to put Reza Pahlavi in there, and to get rid of the Islamic terrorist regime, the Ayatollah Khomeini, who's invaded their country and who has ruled their country for 47 years. That's what President Trump is trying to do with the Iran-Israel war. Because Israel sees the writing on the wall. They've seen the writing on the wall for years. That's why we can't just end the war right away. We have to end the war with a purpose. We have to end the war knowing that A, this will never happen again, but B, the president and Netanyahu are setting up a future for the Israeli people, for America, for the Islamic people, or excuse me, not the Islamic people, the Iranian people, excuse me. But they are doing this in a way so that Sharia law doesn't creep in and invade and be the only law of the land. They're doing this so that Christians don't get hurt. They're doing this so that the Jewish people aren't continuously pummeled and taken down to the ground. Because Netanyahu said, we are a strong country, but we are a small country. And if Israel has to go it alone, we will go it alone. But of course, we want our biggest ally, America, to stand shoulder to shoulder with us, which we have. But also the president of the United States, President Trump, understands that Iran can never have nuclear weapons. We don't want them to have nuclear weapons because they not only will come for the Jews, but they will come for the Christians too. And as I said on the show on Tuesday, Israel's such a small country. That's not really what Iran, or not Iran, but Islamic terrorists want to do. They want to kill as many people as possible. Israel just has 7.5 million Jews, 2 million Arab Israelis. That's nothing compared to the veracity of terror that they can do in a country like America or in a country like Canada and so forth. Like I said, Israel's a small country. They're the size of New Jersey. But it's very important, guys. It's very important that we understand what's at stake. I feel very bad for Mrs. Gorman, excuse me. I feel very bad for what happened to her daughter, because it's true. She goes home every night without a child. And as I said on Tuesday, there is nothing more heinous than having your child die. A parent never wants to outlive their child. It is the most horrific thing as a parent to face. My Bubby, may she rest in peace, she outlives 2 children. Her eldest son died of a massive heart attack at the age of 35. And then her 4th child that was born before my father, he died at 16 months of a brain hemorrhage. After her 16-month-old child died, my Zadie said to my bubby, let's have another child. And she said, how can we have another child? I just lost my 16-month-old child. How can I have another one? How could I ever love a child like I loved Dennis? And my Zadie said, we have to move on. We have to find a way to move on. You're young, you can have more children. And the next child that you have, you will love just as much as you love Dennis. I promise you. And that child was my father. My father was the baby of the family. And I'll be honest, it was hard for my bubby to warm up to my father when he was a baby. But that one moment where my dad got up on his crib and just gave my bubby a warm smile, that was all my bubby needed to feel love, to have love for a child again. I think she was afraid that if she loved my father too much, she would die like Dennis died. But it turned out that my father was the best of the 5 children, took care of his mother till she died at the age of 92, took care of his Zadies, or of his fathers, took care of his stepsisters, who he really called sisters. And that is the power of why it's so important that we continue to love our children, why we continue to put our children first. As you know, my colleague, Tim Fazenbaker, he came up with the term American Kids First. It's so true and it's so prevalent. And he's actually had Democrats that have said to him, you know what, I don't agree with everything of what you say, but you put my kid first and I'm voting for you anyway, just because of that. He's got people that are like, you know what, Tim, I may not agree with you here. I may not like how you talk to this rhino and that rhino, but you know what? The alternative is much worse, because you do not want Sharia law in your county, in your state, or in your district. You do not want an Islamic takeover. Smells funny or something reads funny or something looks funny, probably is. Again, researching your candidates is so important, so important. And if you have a representative that supports illegal criminals and convicted felons, you need to get rid of them. Or you need to primary them out. I've begged AIPAC to primary at Chris Van Hollen because he's an anti-Semite and he loves illegals. He used taxpayer dollars to go to El Salvador to try to bring Kilmar Garcia back, who is an MS-13 gang member and was caught in Tennessee for sex trafficking and human trafficking. That's the type of senator that we have representing the state of Maryland. A guy that puts illegals first and uses American taxpayer dollars to go try to get an illegal MS-13 gang member, sex offender back to this country. It's disgusting. The people need to wake up and see who their representatives are. If someone has a weird last name, or you see someone wearing a hijab on Facebook, or you see someone supporting an illegal criminal, do not vote for them. Do not support them. Question them, call them out, and make sure that they do not become a representative. It's very important, guys, as we go into the midterm we're going through midterms right now in July. And of course, President Trump is doing a convention in September in Dallas. And of course, as we're going to the general in November, we have to make sure that the House of Representatives remains Republican and expand the House of Representatives to more conservative Republicans. And we have to make sure to keep the Senate and get rid of Senate Majority Leader John Thune, because he's a piece of crap and will not pass the Save America Act. He won't even put it to the floor. And people like Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna from Florida and others have tried to find ways where he can incorporate the Save America Act to get it passed, and he won't do it. He's a piece of crap. He's a Mitch McConnell light. I mean, he's doing Mitch McConnell's bidding, as Mitch McConnell is stroking out every week. Get rid of these people. It's funny, the South Dakota GOP actually censured John Thune. He's the guy you censure. Not my friend Tim Fazenbaker. That's the guy, Senator John Thune, who is a representative. You censure. You don't censure a private citizen. So think about it, guys, as we go into this 4th of July. As we ask for our freedom and independence, you remember how we got our independence in 1776. How Americans fought the battle and won the war to give us our freedom. Before we go to segment 3, don't forget our 2 biggest sponsors. We have FoliumPX.com. toxic heavy metals, full body detox, free radical support. I use this. This is great before you eat that hot dog and that hamburger on 4th of July. And this is great after you eat a hot dog and a hamburger. I'm going to be eating kosher. Kosher hot dogs are so salty and full of so many preservatives. I need to detox before and after. I'm actually in the process of detoxing before I eat that kosher hot dog. But please, guys, go to fullympx.com. There's a lot of great discounts right now because it's 4th of July. Please get the supplements. They're super antioxidants. It's great for the body. Then, of course, we have our second and our biggest sponsor, which is rncstore.com, the Richardson Nutritional Center. Again, this is another detox, all natural product. This is great if you have cancer, especially stage 4 cancer. If you've had cancer, if you are going through different changes of the body. Also, if you're trying to have children, this is great for fertility. 10% discount if you use A.L.L. That QR code automatically takes you to the discount. Again, if you don't buy anything, you don't get the discount. But again, as you know, we're into the 4th of July weekend. There's massive amounts of discounts. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. And again, we are live. Thanks to everybody that has been joining us. We're live on 15 different connections: Rumble, Substack, Spotify, Parler, Facebook, X, TikTok. You name it, we're on it. There's so many, I can't even remember. But thank you guys so much for continuing to watch us. I have a lot of friends that are watching that don't comment, but thank you to Donald Willinger and many others who have commented. And we will be right back, guys. Stay with us. We're live. Stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did.
Well, hello, guys. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine, live with the America's Pulse Network. You are live with me, Alexandra Levine. And as my commercial stated, I am a political consultant. I own my own political consulting firm, levineconsulting.co. I will tell you that I just took down the entire rhino establishment of Maryland, and people have been giving me a call. So if you are one of those candidates who is a conservative that's running in a conservative district, but you got rhinos that are up your behind, literally, give me a call, or actually go to my website, levineconsulting.co, book a consultation with me today. And we have a lot of great races going on, mostly local races, gubernatorial races. We do have some state races up for grabs in multiple states throughout the nation. So again, this is really important, guys, that we expand the House of Representatives Republican, that we have all Republican governors as much as we can. If we did have a Republican governor, like in Ohio, for example, we have Mike DeWine, who's really a rhino, but he is term limited. So the preferred choice is Vivek Ramaswamy. We want to make sure that Ohio stays Republican, that we have a Republican governor in the state of Ohio. Also in the state of Florida, where my governor, Ron DeSantis, is term limited. He will be leaving. And President Trump, as you know, has endorsed Congressman Byron Donalds multiple times to be the next governor of Florida, a Republican. Again, we want to keep these states like Ohio, Florida, and many others. We want them to have Republican governors. Arkansas with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, we want her to stay on as the governor of Arkansas, Republican. We don't want to flip any of these gubernatorial seats, like what happened in Virginia. I mean, Virginia had a Republican governor, a Republican lieutenant governor, a Republican attorney general, and then all of a sudden it flipped. So we don't want that, guys. And we want to, if the states have always been Republican governors, we want to keep them Republican governors. And these are governors that are very conservative, that support President Trump and support his agenda. Well, we're kind of moving into segment 3 because our segment is a little bit short tonight because we are heading towards the 4th of July weekend and there are some live fireworks going on throughout the area. If you have not gone to the Great American Fair yet in DC, I advise you to go. I'll be going this weekend. It's supposed to be so much fun. And you may get to see a representative there, someone from the cabinet there. I know Kelly Loeffler was there yesterday and many others. It's a great way to network. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to talk to your elected officials and your cabinet members, and also just to meet new people. I can tell you, going to Trump rallies, I met so many people that are still my friends today. Also this weekend, and we'll talk about later, I'll be attending a parade. I would advise everybody to go to a parade. There is a lot of heat advisories going around in the area, especially in the Maryland, D.C. area. Please, guys, hydrate. Drink a Powerade, drink a liquid IV. I would advise you guys to actually get an IV immunity shot, and it's also good for dehydration before you head out to that parade. I used to get liquid IVs all the time, and it's really great. It's more milligrams than actually taking all the supplements that you take. So if you take a multivitamin every day like I do, it's better just to get it in an IV, and that'll last you for a couple weeks. But going into segment 3, so let's put up the first slide, Mr. Sheridan. So this was a very interesting story that I saw the other day. So I lived in New York, so I know about the Empire State Building. It is technically illegal to climb all the way up to the top of the Empire State Building without permission, without any notice. And this young couple, they were actually wearing masks as they were climbing up. So the 2 suspects accused of climbing the Empire State Building and unfurling a massive banner are escorted by police during a perp walk in New York City. Authorities say Netflix stars Angelina Nikolai and Ivan Kuznetsov scaled the iconic skyscraper before hanging the banner from the top of the building. And the banner was beautiful. It said, like, we love, we will always love, they'll always be loved. It was like a very uplifting message, prompting an emergency response and drawing crowds below. Both were taken into custody and are facing charges in connection with the high-profile stunt. So my question to my audience is, do you think what these guys did was wrong? Do you agree or disagree with them getting arrested? And what do you think about it? I mean, look, under the Biden years, we had these freaking Islamic terrorists scaling buildings, scaling monuments, defaming them, desecrating them, and nothing happened to them. You know why? Because Joe Biden reversed the executive order that President Trump first put into place in 2018, stating that if you desecrate a monument, you go to jail, you go to federal prison for 10 years. Now, when President Trump came back, he actually reinstalled that executive order. So if you do burn an American flag or desecrate a Liberty Bell or desecrate a Confederate statue, you go to jail for 10 years. You have to pay and there's a heavy fine as well, in addition to going to jail. Now, do you think, in your opinion, guys, that this was jail worthy? Now, after the 2 iconic skyscrapers got up to the very top and put their banner, and let me tell you something, there was memes going around about what the banner should say. I can't really say because our network could get sued, but it's funny. Some of the memes are really funny. So at the end, when they got to the very top and they showed the banner, then this guy, Mr. Kuznetsov, Ivan, he got on one knee and he proposed to his girlfriend. He proposed to her right then and there. I mean, I think that's really beautiful. It kind of reminds me of that movie Sleepless in Seattle, where they said, meet me at the top of the Empire State Building. It was actually based on a very famous movie, a very old movie, I think with Cary Grant, if I recall. I could be wrong there, but it was, or maybe with Humphrey Bogart. It was a very, very famous movie, that they wanted you to meet each other on the top of the Empire State Building. What happened was the woman was rushing. She got out of the cab and she actually gets run over by a car and she becomes paralyzed from the neck down. And she couldn't meet him. She couldn't meet the man at the top of the Empire State Building because she was in a wheelchair. And it wasn't until later that he saw her and she was kind of sitting on the couch and her legs were covered and she hit her wheelchair and her walker and everything. And it hit him that he realized that she was hit, that she was paralyzed, and that there was nothing she could do about it. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, they fall in love, they get married, and so forth. But I mean, doing these iconic things to me is so beautiful as compared to watching a freaking Islamist take down the American flag and then put up a Palestinian flag, which, as you know, Palestine doesn't exist. That happened when Netanyahu came to this country to speak in front of the halls of Congress. At Union Station, I never thought I'd seen in my lifetime desecration of buildings, taking down the American flag, burning it, and then putting up a Palestinian flag at Union Station, Washington, D.C. And then what did they do to Netanyahu as he was staying in Washington, D.C.? They had people throw things that look like anthrax, rat poisoning. I think they had like mice and rats in the hotel that they were staying at. I mean, it was so disgusting. And then when Netanyahu and his wife finally came to Mar-a-Lago to hang out with Trump, it was like, oh, it was like paradise. It was like, get me out of World War III and put me into like America. And I mean, it's day and night from, 2021, 2022 to now. But again, my question to my audience, do you think that this young couple should have been arrested? Do you think what they did deserves an arrest? Do you think that the charges should be completely dropped? And what's going to happen to the girl's engagement ring? Because, when you go to jail, they confiscate all your jewelry, they confiscate all your goods. And also, I want to know if she said yes. I think she did. But that would have been nice for them to film him saying yes. But the whole thing was filmed. There was helicopters everywhere. Yes, it was a bold move what they did. It was a risky move what they did. A lot of people were like, why are they wearing masks? This is stupid because people are going to find out who they are. But what they did was iconic. And what they did, in my opinion, was very cute. Was it against the law? Yes, of course. And we don't support anybody who breaks the law. But again, compare this as compared to Islamists that climb up on buildings and tear down history and tear down the American flag and put up the Palestinian flag. What these guys did was nothing but show a banner to everyone that was a banner of love. It was talking about love and that we found love and that, love is around. I mean, it was a very uplifting message. Were they Republicans or Democrats? That we don't know. We don't care. But if they are Trump people, I'm sure New York City's throwing the book at them. And I'm sure Mondami is so happy that these people are arrested. Let's put up the second slide. So the second slide actually talks more about the couple. So the couple who climbed on top of the Empire State Building are known, quote, rooftoppers. And again, their names is Angela Nikolai and Ivan Birkas. The pair appeared in a Netflix documentary in 2024 titled, quote, Skywalkers, a Love Story, unquote. So maybe they were doing this, like going up to the Empire State Building. Maybe this was part of a second Netflix documentary. Who knows? Maybe they were filming and we just don't know about it. And this was earlier Wednesday. This was yesterday. The climbers appeared on top of the building, displaying a banner that read, and I'm glad that this said this, when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. Let me say it again. When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. And then, of course, the guy proposed to her. And I agree with him that the power of love is so strong. It's stronger than somebody's love for power. Who's got love for power? Zohran Mandami. Who else has love for power? Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib. Who also has love for power? Bernie Sanders. Who also has love for power? All these damn politicians like Jamie Raskin and Ms. Jayapal who support Islamic terrorists and Islamic jihad. Chris Van Hollen, he has a love for power. And it's true, when politicians go into office, especially in the federal government, they lose themselves a little bit. They start to have egos and they start to have the love of power, and they forget about the power of love. They forget about what got them in office, and they forget about their spouses, by the way. That's why all these damn men and women cheat on their spouses when they get into the federal government, because of the love of power. But because these two young people have the power of love in them, they know about world peace. They understand what world peace means. I remember in movies, at these pageants, USA pageants, they say, what do you want in this world? If you won the Miss America, Miss Universe, what would you want? And what would they all answer? I want world peace. That's always their answer. I want world peace. And, New York says the climbers atop the Empire State Building caused quite the spectacle on Wednesday. I don't think it was a spectacle, in my opinion. How is this a spectacle to have a banner waving when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace? I don't call that a spectacle. I call that a message of strength and a message of upliftment and fulfillment. And that man at that moment, he continued his power of love by getting on one knee and proposing to his girlfriend, because he understood what the power of love is, because that provides world peace. Because the whole point of being with someone is to get married and to have children, not date them for 50 years, not date them for 20 years, not live with them for 10 years. But that goes back to our Judeo-Christian values of getting married and having children. That is the concept. I hate to say it. That's why I was going to say what I was going to say, and I'm changing my thought because it may not sound right. But, people make fun of all these, other people that have like millions and millions of children, depending on what religion you practice. But there's a reason why they practice, and there's a reason why they have all these children. Now, Islamic jihadists will have a lot of children to kill innocent people. And they raise them to be martyrs. That's Hamas, that's Hezbollah, it's Islamic Jihad. But a normal everyday family, like a Jewish Orthodox family, they have a lot of children because A, we don't have a lot of Jews in this world, but also it's because in Judaism, we talk about the power of love. And it's about honoring your spouse. And it's about taking care of your spouse to the point where the man must take the shirt off his back for his wife. It says that in certain ketubas. Ketubah is your Jewish marriage license. And if you haven't hung up your ketubah, or if you haven't looked at it lately, I would advise you and your husband have something called ketubah night. So you can point out, and the rabbis tell you, you must point out to your spouse what's in your ketubah. So they follow it. Because the ketubah is your prenup. The ketubah is your marriage license. That is your connection with Hashem. But certain ketubas will tell you that you must do for your wife, you must take care of your wife to the point where you take your shirt off your back for her. You sacrifice everything for her. You put her on that pedestal and you keep her there. So I am all about the power of love and the power of prayer. I always have been. When you want to find a husband or you want to find a boyfriend or girlfriend or children, you look up at God and you ask him. And let me tell you, he does provide. But he will not provide if you have love for power. If you have love for power, you will not succeed. If you're an arrogant ass, you will not succeed. I advise people all the time, even in politics, to take your ego down and drop it to the ground. Because at the end of the day, it's not about your ego. It's not about you. It's about your constituents. It's about helping your constituents and taking care of them. They're the ones that should have bigger egos than you because they voted you in. They have the right to tell you that we need this, this, and this, and this. They have the right to tell you off, too, if you don't do your job. And I believe that more constituents should. That's why I'm so happy that Mrs. Gorman called out the elected officials that said, this is the fourth time that we've been here talking about sanctuary cities and sanctuary policy. I'm glad that Mrs. Gorman said, thank you, Democrats, for letting me know that you don't give a damn about me and a damn about my child who was murdered. And more angel moms have come out, like Tammy Nobles and Rachel Morin and others. And Kate Steinle's law hasn't even been passed yet. It's just sitting there, just like the Tammy Nobles Act is just, or Kayla Hamilton Act is just sitting in the Senate. I don't understand why the United States Senate is not passing these legislations and putting it on President Trump's desk for him to sign. He wants to sign them. That is all about the power of love. It's about loving your children, loving your family, loving your constituents. And that's really the message of 4th of July, is the power of love. Because the power of love brings world peace. Speaking of someone who loves his family, loves his children, don't forget Tim Fazenbaker. We have a little meme that he created. Oh, well, I was going to do the meme first, and then there we go. Who will you be voting for in November? And this is actually a clip of Sophia Montgomery It's a very famous clip, but somebody put that meme together and pointed, who will you be voting for in November? Tim Fazenmaker for Baltimore County Council District 9. And we'll put up the second slide, please. This is where Mr. Fazenmaker and I will be on July 4th. We will be, I love a parade, the Dundalk Independence Day Parade, hosted by the Greater North Point Association. That's our friend Frank Niehoff. The parade starts at 8:15 a.m. If you are part of the parade, you must be in line or line up, so to speak, between 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. If you're not there at 7:30 a.m., they take you off. You're not allowed to walk. But I have walked this parade. It's a 2.5-mile parade. I've walked it. I've walked it in high heels, and I will be there. I'm allowed to walk on Shabbos. I will not be writing. I will not be taking pictures. I will not be signing autographs, nothing like that. But I am allowed to walk on Shabbat. I was given a letter by my rabbi. I'm allowed to. So this is it's very important that we all go to the parades and we wear our 4th of July colors. And I will be wearing my 4th of July dress, which you all saw during early voting, which my chest got burnt to a crisp. So make sure if you're out there, please put on sunscreen, guys. Again, mineral sunscreen all the way, SPF 50. Tinted moisturizers with an SPF 50 is the way to go. Don't put on any type of 30, 25, 45. It's not going to work. So please, guys, if you're in the Dundalk area and you want to meet Tim Fazenmaker, come on down to Dundalk. The parade starts at 8:15 a.m. with, of course, fireworks at 9 p.m. And, of course, don't forget to donate to Mr. Fazenmaker. Here's his website with the QR code. Mr. Fazenmaker is, and he will be officially certified on July 6th, the Republican nominee for Baltimore County Council District 9. He won his primary by close to 600 votes above the Rhino. Again, Mr. Fazenmaker literally beat the entire Rhino establishment in Maryland with me on Tuesday night. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Now the Rhino establishment's been calling him saying, oh crap, now we got to support Tim. What are we going to do? Well, they're going to support him and they're going to back him because they don't want Sharia law in their damn county and district. So they haven't confirmed 100% who his opponent is. It's between a couple people. So we'll let you know the finale of that in July. But I wouldn't even think about the Democrat because the Republican Tim Fazenmaker has to win, will win, because if not, you will get leftist socialism in Dundalk like you never believe. So please, guys, go to timfazenbaker.com. That's timfazenbaker.com. Make a donation. The maximum is $6,000 up until November. You can give $1,500 now, $2,000 now, $3,000 and $3,000 later. You can divvy it up. Even $50 makes a difference. But guys, every candidate needs money. Every candidate will take the money and put it into a good use. Even if you don't like Tim, donate to him. Because let me tell you something, the alternative is worse. You don't want a Democrat in Dundalk and Sparrows Point, Edgemere. You don't know what the hell you're getting. And then, of course, we have our good friend, Justin Murphy, who is the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate for New Jersey. I had vouched for him. I pushed the Jewish community to vote for him in New Jersey. Please, Jewish Republicans and Jewish Democrats and Jewish independents, please vote for Justin Murphy because Cory Booker is an anti-Semite and he doesn't support the Jewish community in New Jersey. Cory Booker has been there way too long. It's time to get a Republican in there, a common sense conservative, a Reagan conservative, someone who understands the role of the United States Senate and looks the part. Please, guys, go to Justin Murphy's website. That's the QR code and make a donation today. And of course, we have our friend Damon Galdo from the Jersey Shore, who is the Republican nominee for U.S. Congress in District Number 1. He also hosts the Jersey Shore every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Also hosts the Pulse majority of the time from 8 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday nights. He and Justin have been working in tandem to bring a more conservative class to New Jersey. Please, guys, this is very important that we get conservatives in office. The president is looking at these races. He's looking at all the races, and he's assessing who's the most conservative out of all. And, of course, the president and many others and the GOPs endorse very hardcore conservatives. They usually endorse the nominees of the Republican or the people that win their primaries, because under the bylaws, a lot of these central committees and the clubs, they usually don't endorse people before the primary. Now the primary is over. These guys are nominees. Endorse them, support them, give them money, whatever you have to do to get them there. It is your job, central committees and clubs and county commissioners and so forth, to get these people over the hump and to get them to win. And I know it's very common in liberal states and liberal counties and districts that the Republicans love to lose. They love to lose because they do deals with the devil. They do deals with Democrats. They do deals with socialists. So they really, the party in Maryland and New Jersey really doesn't like to help. But I know the New Jersey GOP, they're backing Damon and they're backing Justin. The Maryland GOP, we know Nicole Harris very well. Her husband is Congressman Andy Harris. We don't really care about the rest of the party endorsing Tim. We want Nicole Harris and Andy Harris themselves to back Tim. And Tim has been extremely loyal to them, and he's very conservative. So that's why it's really important that we put these guys in power. And don't forget, guys, we do have the Pulse every Wednesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. You never know who's going to moderate. As you know, my show is every second and fourth Tuesday of the month and every Thursday night. And of course, don't forget, we have New Jersey State House with Jack Brangan and Constance Zitzel. So when I'm not on, Jack Brangan and Constance Zitzel are on. And they have a great show and they have really great guests. Of course, we have the Conservative Corner with our friend Seth. He comes on once a month on a Sunday from, I want to say 7 to 8:30 p.m. or maybe it's 8 to 9 p.m. I'm not sure. Damon, Sherrod, you can fix me on that or correct me on that. But it's a great show. I love that show. When I'm in the gym, I watch the show. And we call him Popeye the Sailor Man because he literally speaks his mind. 7 p.m. Thank you. So 7 p.m. once a month on Sundays of the Conservative Corner. I just want to say, for the last couple minutes, please, guys, be safe. Have a wonderful 4th of July. I hope that I see you. If I don't see you, please have a wonderful 4th. Drive safely. If you can carry a gun wherever you are, carry a gun. Concealed carry all the way. I'm all about that. Constitutional carry if you have it in your state. Please exercise your right to carry. And guys, don't forget to vote. Please exercise your right to vote. If primaries are coming up in your state, please, guys, please exercise your right to vote. But I want you guys to have a wonderful 4th of July and celebrate 250 years of America. Be proud to be an American because it's about making America great again and keeping America great. Thank you guys so much for watching. And the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
Alexandra, thanks you for watching tonight's Alexandra Levine Live podcast. See you at the next packed show, from breaking news to informative topics that will keep you informed. So please click the subscribe button to get notified for upcoming episodes. If you like what the Alexandra talked about, then share the Alexandra Levine Live podcast with others. Alexandra also looks forward to seeing you on the next upcoming